It has been a very busy week here at my house, so we've been covering some more news this week actually because I wanted to tackle some current events stuff going on, but none of that serious mumbo jumbo that you have to deal with every day on the news. This is something fun that I want to hear your opinion on. Spider-Man No Way Home obviously was a box office hit. That's like the tamest way to say it. This movie is insane in terms of making money, and Morbius certainly wasn't really that. Now, after that whole thing, Sony has actually announced that they are re-releasing Spider-Man No Way Home back into theaters, but there is a caveat here, and that is that this is an extended cut, meaning there will be more scenes and more interactions between these Spider-Men and more things going on in the movie. Now, if you enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are at near 110,000 when I record this, and that is thanks to you. I appreciate you very much. Here's kind of where I wanted to throw it to you guys and just ask you a question and kind of gauge your feedback in the comments. Now, this is it's an idea that I think is good, right? When you look at director's cuts and things like that, where it's like, hey, listen, we made some compromises or we made some decisions going into the original movie release that we wanted to cut some stuff for time and we wanted to make this flow as good as possible, blah, blah, blah. Let's put that back in. People want to see more Tobey. They want to see more Andrew. They want to see more Tom with these two. Maybe they want to see more of the villains like Alfred Molina. I don't know. What do you think about that? Because my whole thing with this in general is that I'm definitely going to see this, so I understand that in my own way I'm going to be supporting this practice. I'm not blind to that. But this reminds me a little bit of the last, and a lot of people didn't see the re-release, but Spider-Man Far From Home sort of did the same thing where it added, I believe, an additional, 4 minutes to the movie. Now, what we don't know about this movie is how much it's adding. It is called the More Fun Stuff version. Spider-Man No Way Home, the More Fun Stuff version, which is a weird thing to call it. I would have just called it a director's cut or an extended cut. But I've seen a lot of people online talking about this in terms of journalist sites and things like that, which, let's be honest, most of us don't care about anyway, where the authors are pretty much just saying things like, they're doing this because people don't buy the Blu-rays and watch them there, so it's a way to reinsert deleted scenes, or they're doing this because it's a way to just milk out more money because Morbius did bad, and look, this happened to be announced right after Morbius did bad. That's not a coincidence. I don't really know what I think about this. I'm kind of sitting here really thinking, I really want to see these interactions expanded. Something I said before was my favorite part of No Way Home was the history. And I know that's a nostalgia thing. I 100% get that. Where you have the history of Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. You have the history of Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. And when he references what happened to Gwen, you've seen that. You've seen that history. Those things to me were some of the best parts of that movie, where you have that history from the past and it's respected, but it's also tied into the new material with the new Tom Holland Peter Parker Spider-Man and how he moves forward in his own story and kind of is inspired by these two. And obviously, again, I'm assuming you've seen this movie, so I don't think I need to give you a spoiler warning, really, but I'm gonna cosplay the nicest person ever for a second, and you can take that little segue as one. One of the things I thought with this movie was that even though they were in, kind of like the third act, the last 30-ish minutes, I wanted to see a little bit more of that, a little more talking, a little more hanging out between these characters, getting to know each other and stuff like that, and kind of building that up. It's not that it did a bad job by any means in the original, it's just that it was so good, and I loved that part of it so much that I wanted to see more. And if you're going to give me an extra 2 minutes of Tobey and 3 minutes of Andrew or anything like that in the runtime, to me, that's actually worth a re-release. But I guess the question I throw to you is, do you think that then should have just been the version that was released originally? It was over 2.5 hours already, so adding in 4 or 5 minutes is not the biggest deal ever. But I also understand the idea of trying to milk out show times in a way and cut something down to make it be shown more. I just think that that's a more business approach of looking at something, and I'm kind of torn on this because I'm sitting here like, well, if this stuff was that good, why did you ever cut it? But then on the other hand, I'm like, if you just cut it to get more movie show times out of that movie, that's a little annoying that you didn't release what the best possible version of the movie could be. I mean, if we're going like full on assume positive intent, then what they did was they released what they thought was the best version of the movie. Then audiences reacted to it and they said, okay, audiences are open to more of that. Let's add more of that in now. Maybe that's what happened. It's 100% possible. But when it comes to like Sony, Marvel, Disney, kind of these big groups, I guess I have a hard time all the time assuming positive intent. You know, for me, as fun as I think some of these movies are, when I look at something like Venom or Let There Be Carnage, the second Venom, or movies like that, it really does seem like a lot of it was kind of streamlined to try and get more showings out of it, not because it benefited the movie. And I guess what I'm kind of looking at this now is, did they do that with Spider-Man? You know, did they do that with No Way Home and it just happened to be that good that it didn't really matter and now it's going to be even better? Or was it something where they didn't really know that the audience was going to be open to and interested in more of this stuff and now it's going to be here? I guess also, we don't know how many more minutes there will be in this. When they say more fun stuff, I'm assuming it'll be more than 3 minutes, you know, because it'd be a little weird to make a whole cut of the movie around like 2 or 3 minutes. But you know, if you remember Far From Home, it kind of did that. There wasn't much in the extended cut at all that wasn't in the original. There's like a scene, I guess, with the Iron Spider, a scene with Peter Parker pawning some stuff off to be able to afford his gift for MJ, and then I'm blanking, but maybe one other scene or a couple of action shots that are a few seconds long kind of thrown in there, and that was about it. So, I don't know. I'm interested to hear your thoughts down below. I love this movie. So I'm kind of sitting here, like I said, like I'm excited to see more of it. I want to see those scenes reinserted. However, I also did buy the 4K of it, and now I'm like, are you re-releasing the movie with those deleted scenes in it eventually, or is this the only way you'll ever be able to see this version of it? And what's going to count as MCU canon, and does anyone care? I don't know. This does introduce some odd questions that I want your take on. If you enjoyed this video, though, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content. Again, we are close to 110,000. That's thanks to you. And in the comments down below, let me know what your thoughts are, and also if there's anything you'd want to see more of in this cut. Are there any characters you want to see more of? Do you just want to see more of those interactions, or do you have no interest in this at all and you're just good with what you got? Let me know. I'm interested to read that. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shway.